Jesus walked up the Mount of Olives, the cool night air surrounding him and his disciples. He found a quiet place to pray, his heart heavy with the weight of the future. He knelt upon the earth, asking God for strength to face the path that lay ahead. The disciples struggled to stay awake, their eyes growing heavy as the night deepened around them. Jesus returned to them, finding them sleeping, and gently urged them to keep watch and pray. He went away again, wrestling with his spirit, knowing the sacrifice he was called to make. An angel appeared from heaven to strengthen him, providing comfort in his moment of deep distress. His sweat became like drops of blood falling to the ground, reflecting his intense inner struggle. Finally, he rose, his resolve firm, and returned to his disciples to prepare for what came. Suddenly, a crowd appeared, carrying lanterns, torches, and weapons, moving through the dark olive trees. Judas led the way, his face hidden in the shadows as he approached his former teacher. He walked straight to Jesus, offering a kiss as the prearranged signal for the armed men. Jesus looked at him calmly and asked if he would betray the Son of Man so. The soldiers stepped forward, their armor clanking, ready to seize the man they had been sent. Peter drew his sword in a flash of anger, striking the servant of the high priest. Jesus touched the servant's ear, healing him instantly, and commanded Peter to put his sword away. He turned to the mob, asking why they came with weapons as if he were a thief. He reminded them that he had taught in the temple daily, yet they never laid hands. The soldiers moved in, binding his hands with rough ropes while the disciples watched in fear. Seeing the danger, the disciples turned and fled into the darkness, leaving Jesus alone with them. A young man followed them, wearing only a linen cloth, but he too escaped their grasp. Jesus remained composed, his eyes reflecting a peace that the soldiers could not possibly understand. They led him away from the garden, the torches flickering against the ancient, gnarled olive trees. The path to the high priest's house was steep, and the night felt cold and unforgiving. Jesus walked with dignity, knowing that this arrest was the beginning of his final earthly journey. He did not resist, for he knew that the scriptures must be fulfilled in every detail. The crowd jeered and pushed, but he remained silent, his focus fixed on the divine purpose. They arrived at the gates, where the high priest waited with anticipation for the captive prisoner. The guards shoved Jesus forward, forcing him into the courtyard where the trial would soon begin. He stood before his accusers, a lone figure of light in the midst of deep gathering. Despite the false witnesses and the rising anger, Jesus stood firm, his spirit unbroken by men. He knew that his sacrifice would bring hope to the world, regardless of the coming pain. The night continued to unfold, marking the start of a sacrifice that would change all history. He looked toward the horizon, where the first light of dawn would soon break the darkness. His journey toward the cross had begun, fueled by a love that conquered every human fear. The story of his arrest became the foundation of a message that would echo forevermore.